You guys, I don't even know what to say at this point. This afternoon, I got a voicemail from the Santa Cruz County Department, which drew my attention in a little differently than like maybe the usual call would. It was from their legal team. And while it was really kind and like in the beginning, it sounded a little threatening. So I called, I have several lawyers at this point. I'll tell you about that in a second. But I called my really dear friend who is my lawyer, like on the go, who just handles shit for me right away. And he called back. And when he called me back in response to the call, it was not good. It was that if I remain open, if I continue to violate the state guidelines, that this like slew of things would happen to me. And one of the things, like none of like at the beginning, they like it really didn't scare me, but they were like really beyond unconstitutional. It was like a restraining order. They could potentially come in and change the locks on the studio. That they would go after, like it sounded like really financial, like assets. And one of the financial things they talked about doing was going back and dinging me like tens of thousands of dollars for every class that I've had that wasn't in compliance. So normally I would say I would have been like, fuck that. And like, I got this. And like, let's take this to the Supreme Court. However, at this point, there are two things I wanted to share with you. Some of you know, and some of you don't know what has been transpiring for myself and Hot Source Yoga since January of this year, which is crazy because it was before COVID hit. But my landlord of 10 years, who promised me, I'm going to take a step back for a second. My landlord last 2019 in February, when you may remember when I was negotiating between moving up to Rancho Del Mar, and how I did that because I like looked for second locations and had all these big dreams to grow the business, but really the business outgrew me. You remember, like 75, 90 people in a class, and I just didn't feel like the center that we were in could actually house our classes anymore. So I thought outside the box, and I started to look at like bigger locations, second locations, third locations, whatever. I did this like 3-year project to get the trademark so that I could potentially franchise or license agreement to go beyond me as the owner. And at the end of the day, what it turned out to be was, it was just, at the time, it was too expensive and too daunting in Santa Cruz County and Monterey County and counties outside of just our small area. So I was going to put that all this aside and just stay in Aptos, and Rancho Del Mar, and next door to us, our little neighbor above us, the Safeway Shopping Center, looked at bringing us up there. And they had all these great plans. They were going to put us in the movie theater, old movie theater that was like 8,000 square feet. Crazy, but huge. 2 yoga rooms, Lululemon boutique, spa. I was going to do like a Hanuman, which is like a Turkish bath, like a refuge kind of thing, like hot, cool, cold plunge. Had all these crazy plans. And after like, I don't know, $75,000 of investment into architectural plans and designs, and it was out of our park, like financially. It was going to be like a $2 million project, and the things that they had promised as far as tenant improvements didn't actually come through. And what I thought was really awesome was that my landlord that we're with now, Kelly Livingston, who owns Aptos Village Square, promised me in a phone call, which coincidentally, my husband happens to have been here for that phone call. This is a key piece of evidence that's going to help me in our case that I'm telling you about. He was sitting here in our bedroom folding laundry while I was on speakerphone talking to her. And back in, I think we're getting the exact date, but I believe it was early February of 2019. She promised me another 10 years. She literally said, like, how much time do you want? You tell me. I can't imagine my shopping center without your business. And she gave me this long speech about what an amazing thing that the studio has been, which it has been for the shopping center. And we've all seen how much that has grown. It's still like kind of a weird ghost town, but it's grown a lot. So my 10 years that started in 2010 culminated in March of 2020. Now, fast forward, everything totally fine. I have my guaranteed re-signing of a lease at the end of March, which would have been April 1st of 2020. And in January of this year, I get an email, a random email, 2 lines or something, that said something like this: Nicole, regretfully, I have decided not to renew your lease. Let me know your plans to exit Aptos Village Square. Now, that in and of itself is a shit show. However, leading up to that point, I had walked away from multiple opportunities to expand the business. I had cut back in ways that I will tell you about later that affected me even to today. And I had spent quite a bit of money and had continued to spend on improving the studio, which you guys know, all the amazing improvements that are continuing and that continued through shelter in place to get us to this place, which are like $300,000. Pretty big deal. So I played the role and I sat her down, and she actually does not live in California. She lives in South Carolina. So she came out, we sat down in January, and we negotiated all of these things that I would put into place to appease her, is how I'm putting it, to appease her. So you remember that you had to like sign the contract and fucking park elsewhere and like wear the robe that I bought you. By the way, the robes cost me $10,000, and that you were like not to leave this out this way and exit out that way. And oh my God. So all of that has been leading us to this point. So I do all of the things and I spend all of the money and I do all the things that I think Kelly wants. And then we get to March 17th, which was COVID-19. So then everything changes for all of us. Everything changes. And I immediately pivot and I say, okay, at that point, none of us knew what was going on. I pull the plug and I say, we're going to close down. And, we didn't even know at that point how I was going to make it. I didn't even know anything about streaming classes. And I again, this is all part of the case. On that day, Thomas and Tia and I were at the studio figuring all of our shit out, how we were going to navigate this. And I get another call from my landlord that says, this is in March, probably about the 18th or 19th of March, that says, I'm so proud of you, Nicole. Oh my gosh, I can't believe like you are setting such a great example for the community to close down. And I want to definitely tell you, like, no matter what, like everything that was said in January, I'm so sorry. And I just want you to know that I would be crazy to let you go. Like, you are my anchor tenant, and you just write your ticket. Like, how much do you want? And I was like, oh, well, I just, we talked about 10 years. And by the way, I have no idea how long we're going to be shut down. Like, I know we're going to be shut down for 30 days, but I kind of want to do some improvements. So here's the good part. She offers me now it's like another business that just moved in illegally, by the way. I'll get to that later at another talk. But one of our neighboring businesses, which used to be the martial arts studio, she offers me a key to store my belongings while we're closed to do all of my studio upgrades, which were significant, as you've seen: the new showers, the new tile wall, the floor, it goes on. I mean, the floor that I put in was $40,000 because it's a non-slip floor from France, and that's really important to me. It was a huge liability issue. It was part of I want the kids to be safe, blah, blah, blah. I added all the things. So I replaced the mirrors. I did we upgraded all of the paint, the showers, new tile, new countertops, new front desk. We rebranded. That's a whole nother story too, by the way. I wouldn't have rebranded to Hot Source Yoga, which was a huge 3-year expedition to get to the trademark, had I not have thought I had another 10 years. So fast forward to all the bullshit and all the stuff, open, close, COVID-19. We don't know what's real. We don't know what to believe. We don't fucking know what state do we live in. Is this communist? What is this? So then we get to October, when at this point I'm still actually closed. I'd been on again, off again. No, actually I was open to 10% capacity, which you guys need to understand. My 100% capacity is like 100 people. So there's that. So I'm open at the small capacity, and I walk in one day to do a coaching call in my office, and I'd only been gone about 30 minutes, and there was an eviction notice on the front door. An eviction notice in the middle of COVID-19 in California, when every business that we fucking know of is gone, like closed. And this is another story. This is for my personal friends. But in that January meeting that I told you about, when Kelly was like really upset because of how busy it was and the park, all this stuff, parking and how many people I was having, and that I offered her, I was paying $6,400 a month, which teared up from the time I started. I offered her in that meeting, I'll pay you $10,000 a month. And she was like, okay. So I have been paying for 2020. Just think about that for a second. With zero income, I've been paying $10,000 a month. Okay. So here we are in October. I give this eviction notice, which is like, what the fuck? So I know all the right people. I immediately call several lawyers. I get a couple, I hire the lawyer. They respond. And here we are. Here we are now on December 3rd. I think today is, to be exact. And I have done the open close thing so many times. You all know my conviction about staying open. I have paid the money today to be filed as a church. I'm actually minister, like Pastor Nicole Duke. That's a side note. I've filed the paperwork to be a medical facility with the Medical Fitness Association of like the United States. So that's in the works. However, the bigger deal is that what's happening underneath this like coup of these governing boards who think that they have fucking rule over everything is that they are trickling down to now attack us legally. And the reality is that I do not have the financial means to take this to the level that what my lawyer informed me today that I would have to take it to be released of said things that I would owe. And at this point, he also informed me, which is the real reason I'm doing this. And this is always what I do. I'm talking for 12 minutes. I meant to do this for like 3 minutes. And you guys love me. And here you go, because you're not going to hear me tomorrow live. So fuck it. The real deal is that what's scary in California, they are giving landlords, take note, landlords the fucking right, unconstitutional right to evict their tenants, their commercial tenants, based on not complying to fucking COVID-19 guidelines. This is so wrong. This is beyond political. This is beyond who you voted for. This is beyond if you think that COVID is real or not. Like, I get it. COVID's real. I have my own things about it. However, I do believe that my civil rights, my constitutional rights to run my business, which is this fucking close to closing against my will, have been completely chokeholded. Like, we're living in a communist state. So here's the deal. You have to speak up. This is beyond me, y'all. Like, I will do what I can do. If you find me a fucking place to teach, I will show up. You find me a warehouse or a garage or anything, and I will bring the heaters, I will bring the sound system, I'll bring the stereo, and I'll bring my fucking energy. But I cannot provide 7960 Soquel Drive. I do not own the space, and I am already fighting a battle for eviction that is going to court in the next several weeks. I'm already fighting that battle. And for them to then bring in COVID-19 bullshit is potentially going to harm the 10 years that the bitch Kelly Livingston promised me. And I'm going to fight for that shit. So with all that said, I know that I love you and you've been texting me beyond. I've been crying. I don't even know why. I actually look pretty good, don't I? I look pretty good for having been crying for the past 5 hours. So the reality is that I need your support, but I don't need your support to be like, when are you coming in? When are you sneaking in? It's beyond that, you guys. This is like, what the fuck is Gavin Newsom doing? Are you fucking paying attention to who is in charge? Like, are you participating? And the people that you know that you're following on the platforms, I'm not on any of that shit. This is a video that I'm sending you directly to my phone. I don't even know what's going on social media right now. But like, the people that you're listening, do they know how convicted you are in what you care about and what you want? Because at this point, we have lost so much, and I am over it. I'm like not going to say the words about how I feel about this state because it's beyond that, but I'm not going to give up. I may go quiet for a bit to fight the other battle, but I need you guys to fucking like call Gavin Newsom call him 20,000 times a day. Call Gail Newell 10,000 times a day. Protest. Stand in front of the studio with your fucking signs and be like, yoga, I mean, seriously, you guys, I want you to look back. Thank you, Sunny. She sent me a screenshot today with a bullshit that Newsom assholes put on the news. And it was like, what to do right now, how to handle this. And all the lists were like, go to a park, meet with a friend, do yoga, meditate, get together. I mean, fuck you, dude. Like, seriously. So I'm going to put that aside because I only want positivity coming back my way. But I could not let another moment go by without saying this. And I don't have the energy anymore, you guys, to reply to every message. I want to, but I have a family, and this is really fucking hard. So I love you. I know how much you know I love you, and I know how much you love me, and we need each other. So for now, let's fucking fight, but let's find another place. Let's find a place that we can get together and do the deal. Like, let's have class. Let's figure it out, because I don't know what else to do right now. I don't know what else to do. I need you. I love you, and you're fucking amazing. Thank you. We've made it this far, you guys. We cannot give up now. And I'm going to put all of my energy into fighting against the evil forces that are trying to kick us out of the center. And I need you to put all your energy into what you believe is right, which is me and you. All right. I love you.